I want to give a shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. Boyd Watson. I watch the videos all the time, and they are one of the few that is trying, I guess, on a big scale, empower the black community uh, and worldwide. I'm a strong believer that, like they teach, that we have to really work on empowering ourselves. When you look at the black community, if we'll really say the black neighborhood, because the community, as I understand it, is when you own and control that piece of land or that territory. Usually our people, they don't control it, they rent it. They rent the area around them, and outsiders come in really and establish themselves there. The Arabs, which own the grocery stores, even the Dominican, my parents are Dominican, and but they don't own no grocery stores. And the Chinese and whatnot, and the Koreans and everybody else except for the Japanese. The Japanese are the only one that I can truly say with my knowledge that have never taken advantage of the opportunities of exploiting black people and their poverty in their neighborhoods. And America is really made on the backs of black Americans. That's a fact. All of the immigrants that come here, they're told, come here and you will prosper. But what we don't know is that they will prosper on the backs of black people. They will. Because if you notice, Asians, they don't work for nobody. You will never find an Asian working for, very rare, you'll find one or two working for Europeans, for whites. Most of them have some kind of business working for, or their own business, or working for another Asian. Many times the Asians and the Arabs are aligned together, especially in the hair product, in the wigs. All over the United States, from California all the way to New York, Florida, everywhere you go, you're going to find Koreans and Arabs and something together, working together and making money. But not one of them is aligned in a business opportunity or a business partnership with a black American. Why? Because all of them have come here to do one thing and one thing only, that's to make money and to prosper and to enjoy the American dream. So white Americans, they have it lined up already that when they come here, they promise them that they will make it here, but not working for them. Because first of all, most white institutions can't even employ their, excuse me, I have a cough, employ their own people. Literally half of the United States, of mid-America, which mostly whites, are unemployed. That's why they usually work in the prison institutions. So the prison institutions is really a modern-day slavery where it's really a place where it is a private institution that is guaranteed a return because they will always be filled. Filled with who? With our people. How will they ensure that the prisons are filled with people so that the companies that invest in it and investors and middle white America can keep on feeding their families and the big companies make billions of dollars of slave labor? Well, they got to create an environment so that those who are impoverished and find no way out will become criminals. The scriptures, I'm big on the scriptures now. The scriptures talk about those that entrap the poor. Those that, in Psalms 12, that creep up or that bow themselves like a lion, looking to see how they can destroy the poor. The scriptures talk about the devil is like a lion, seeking whom he may destroy. And as to me, that refers that you could see that as the United States looking around this system, looking around whom they may destroy. And who are they looking through? Satan is looking to and fro the earth. And therefore, who they're destroying is our people. Therefore, there are two types of blacks. Well, three, I should say. One, those who have completely given up and are ignorant. That's the first type of black, ignorant and don't have a clue what's going on. Two, those that know what's going on but have rolled over and said, hey, we can't fight them. We can't do nothing because the white man gonna let us do anything. So they just throw up their hands and just live life according to how the chips may fall. And then there is the third kind, which say, I'm going to fight to the death. I'm going to do whatever it takes to free myself. And the main way to free yourself, according to Claude Addison, is to actually get out of the Republican Party, or really the PERC and the Democratic Party, and form our own party. But even like that, how we will support those politicians who pull out because they need money. They need money to function. And that's when you need an economic base. And that's the thing that the system fights. They fight black people to form an economic base, because the economic base is what gets you free. You see how other communities, they are enclosed? How are they enclosed? They're enclosed with businesses and money. And therefore, they hire their own people. And then when the people work a certain amount of time, they sell them their businesses. And they keep on expanding and increasing and expanding. And then they buy from each other and sell to outsiders, and mostly the black community. Because most whites ain't going to buy from Arabs. Most whites are not going to buy from Chinese. Most whites are not going to buy from Koreans. So how do they make $6 million a year in the most poorest neighborhoods or in the corner? Because they have a business. But blacks in the bottom really have it hard, because you need money to establish your business. And banks ain't going to lend you business. Banks, ain't going to lend you money to start a business. So, so it's in the endeavor of the rich blacks to somehow look out for the middle class blacks, who look out for the blacks at the bottom. But now I realize that there's some people that realize that, and according to Dr. Boyce Watson, which I always watch his videos, he has a method where the average working man or woman can literally get capital to open up a business. Because a true freedom, true deliverance is literally working for yourself. Really what it is. Having your own business. Because even according to the scriptures, working for somebody else is a form of slavery. Matter of fact, it is slavery, because when we were in the plantation, we were working for somebody else. Slavery is just not really not getting paid. Slavery, even if you're getting paid, is literally that everything you do is benefiting them literally 95% of the time. 95% is benefiting them, but it's not benefiting you. So anything that's benefiting somebody else, 95%, and you barely benefit from it, you're in slavery. Or when all your rights, like the basketball players or football players, all their rights is taken away from them to the point that they're actually told how to spend their money, where to spend their money, and when to invest, and how much to invest, and how much to give in charity. That's slavery. You have no control over what you do, no control over your time. From 9 to 5, or like myself, for literally 15 hours a day, all my time belongs to somebody else. That's not freedom. That's slavery. And if you look at it, we're still in slavery. Now we say, well, whites and blacks are in slavery together. Well, I differ with that. Because many whites like to say, well, we're slaves too. No, because when you are working for your own brother and you're working for your own people, that's not slavery. That's cooperation. That's what it is. Because when they work for their people, they take their money and put it back into their community. And they're helping their brothers maintain a business to make money, which in turn help them take care of their families. But us, on the other hand, we're working for another nation who oppressed us. Then we take our money and give it back to them. And we don't keep it within ourselves. So that is really slavery. And most of us don't think that way because we were born into it. And the first thing our parents tell us is go get a job. You need to go get a job. And really, that's all they know. But it should be open up your own business, but in the meanwhile, get a job, learn from that, and start your own business. Do not stay working in that job. Open up your own business. It could be something small like a tire shop, a candy store, anything. But at least you're free. And you can, and the idea of having your business, not just to benefit you and your family, but it benefits also your community. Because in there you build a community when you buy from each other. And we should always make a conscious effort to buy from each other. You can always do it, but that should be your main goal. And stop making excuses that they're more expensive than you. Nobody does that but us. Nobody. I never seen a white man say, you know what, I'm going to go to the black store because it's cheaper, because white folks' stuff is so expensive. They're selling their bags for $150. They're selling the Gucci bags for $500. Therefore, I'm going to go to an Arab store and get my bag for $50. You don't see that. They respect that businessman and they buy the bag for $500. That's what they do. The Chinaman, he don't care. He go buy from his own no matter what. So do the Arabs. You don't see them shopping at other places. You don't see Koreans shopping from Arabs or white American stores. You barely see it. You don't see Arabs shopping at the Chinese or eating their food at all, period. Or even shopping at white American stores. Very few. All you see is us packing out their stores and their wallets because, and mainly, I believe, mainly because our leaders don't push economic industry. They don't push institution or industry. They push jobs. They all push industry and working for themselves. And they actually tell their people, their children, they raise them not to shop for nobody else but themselves. You sell, but you don't buy. You sell to other people, but you don't buy from them. But we don't sell to nobody. But we buy from everybody. And we don't even sell to ourselves. And we don't even buy from ourselves. So that's a bad situation, because that is a fragmented people, and people that's everywhere, like a bunch of nomads in your own land. In your own land. Even the immigrants, those people that are coming in the caravan, many of them are going to have jobs. Because when they come here, guess who's going to give them jobs? The same Hispanics that are here already. At the restaurants, at the stores, at the grocery stores. They're going to get employed. But us, we don't have nobody, no one, really with big enough businesses to employ the thousands of brothers and sisters that are out of work. And that ought not to be that way. And the reason why is that because we're the only people who's trying to fit in their institutions, their communities. And one of the biggest problems that I see, well, all the other people have different leaders with different ideologies, and they study all of them, forming a culture and a code of conduct. We only study Martin Luther King. One man. We have Malcolm X. We had Huey from the Black Panthers. We have Elijah Muhammad. We have Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. Van Dessy, Nat Turner, Louvain Toussaint from Haiti. We have all these strong heroes, but we don't study none of them. Not one. All we know is Martin Luther King. Now they have a plethora of heroes. White America, they got from Abraham Lincoln. They got George Washington. They got Patrick Henry, and on and on and on. And they got those Southern heroes who were the patriots of the South, and they have all them statues around, and they know about all these people. They study them. And all of these men, even though many of them did not agree, but everyone had a strong point where they put all their points together and build a powerful society, a powerful community that everybody else got to bow to them. But we only study one man. But imagine we became experts of Malcolm X. Imagine we all became experts of Van Dessy, Nat Turner, Elijah Muhammad, and Drew Ali, and many others, not just the civil rights leaders, but also our militant one, Huey, and many others. And we take all of the sayings and put them together and build a code of conduct and honor where we follow those. You'll be unstoppable. But the problem is also that we are educated by their system. It goes back to have an economic base where you form your own school. See, blacks are really the 9th richest nation on the planet. Black people make more money than almost every other community, but you're the weakest. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make as an individual. If you don't work as a society, if you don't work in uniform, if you don't work as a community, that's how God made it. Everybody's in a team. Like Dr. Claude Anderson teaches, God put us all in a team. If you work in a community, if you work in a base, and you have people you work with and form a community, you like playing a football. Every team and with a football or baseball or basketball, they have to work together to win. If they're all fragmented and they don't work as a team, they're not going to win. Another team that's weaker than they are, can't even play, will beat them. Why? Because they're playing as a team. Now, in the black community you find, or in the black neighborhood you find, that all the other people who make less are politically and a community-wise stronger, and they have power, and they're to be reckoned with, because what if they don't vote? They got a politician that represents them, and they put money in that politician's pocket, and I don't care if he's black, white, or their kind. You won't even find a Chinese or a Korean politician. But they get what they want, because they put money in a certain politician's pocket, and he's going to do what they want. He's going to do what they say. Because they vote as a bloc. And they are a force to reckon with together. And even if they don't make as much money as you individually, they don't make as much money as LeBron James, as Michael Jordan, and many of the athletes and the rappers, they don't. But guess what? Together, they are forced to be reckoned with. But because we're fragmented everywhere, it doesn't matter how much money you make individually if you're not working as a community. The world works as a team. The world works as a unit, as a pack of dogs, as a herd of cattle, or as a herd of buffaloes, or as what you call I don't know what you call a lion. When you have a lion, a school of lions, they work together. But when you fragment it, and if you watch Animal Kingdom, you watch that all of the animals work together. They work in unison to survive, to hunt. But us, we don't work together. We all split up all over the place. Let me tell you, all the other black groups around the world and in America, whether they're Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, all these other groups, they are waiting literally for leadership because they're not a threat to the United States. The only people that are a threat to the United States are the 50 million blacks in America. And the day that blacks unite, all of them will fall in line. They'll fall in line. Because mostly all of them, even blacks that come from Africa, come here looking for the leaderships of blacks. And all they see is a fragmented people that are rejecting everybody else. And economically, they can't help nobody. They can't help nobody. You got more money than any other group, but yet can't help nobody. Because it's dealing with an individual basis, not in a community. They say black got $1 trillion, worth $1 trillion of consuming power. That's not power. A consumer is not the powerful for one. The powerful one is the producer. So imagine blacks took that $1 trillion, put it together, and turn around and begin to produce in their own community. And it will be easy because anytime any black begin up to unite black folks, he become a threat. He become the racist one. And that's why it must be done. Now, one of the things that I see that God works through the church. Yet, the black church, the community has more churches, or the neighborhood has more churches. The black people have more churches than any other group of people in America, and I even say the world. In every other community, you see one church or two churches. One for one denomination, maybe Baptist or Methodist. And you see another one, Presbyterian, or one church for one Korean community, another church for the Chinese community, but when you call, or another one for the Italian community, maybe two. But when you with the white Americans, they're the majority. So you may see maybe two churches in every community or every town. But when it comes to us, in one block, we got 50 churches. Sometimes you go to the highway and you see literally 4 or 5 mega churches in the radius of 50 miles. One big mega church and a lot of other churches that you could fit about maybe 1,500 people. Yet not one of them, not one of them employs people. Look to give jobs. Or owns a whole town of community. No. They got 20, and not only that, believe it or not, some of the black churches are the richest churches in America outside of the Catholic Church. And maybe perhaps the Southern Baptist. They're the richest churches. And some of the biggest churches too. One church will have 5,000. You drive down another 20 miles, and another church got another 8,000. Right in New York, you got 2 churches. Got Floyd Flake, Dr. Floyd Flake. He got about a $10,000 church. A 10,000 member church. Then you go down, you got Bernard, Dr. Bernard. He got the largest church. He even got more members. And between these two people, you may have around maybe 25,000 people right there. 25,000 people. You telling me these two pastors cannot get together and build an economic strength? You have, Floyd Flake, he built a beautiful area in Queens. I believe God, they have to answer to God, and many of these pastors really are going to lose out in God. Because, and I really believe many of them, I'm not even going to get saved. You have $10 million in the bank. And when you want to buy a plane or a boat or a mansion, you don't even take out the money from the bank. You ask the members for more money because in case something happens, the economy go down, they can give you no more money. You have that big money in the bank to take care of you and your family for the rest of their lives. And yet you don't use that money for none of God's kingdom, only your kingdom. Now, you look at the white churches. The white churches, they may be smaller, have less members, but yet they have hospitals, they have schools, they employ their staff, and they make a decent wage. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. But when you look at our churches, Hilliard, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, my favorite preacher, Noah Jones, and many others that are not even on TV. Not even on TV. You don't even know who they are because they're not on the TV or the radio. You got to be in that town or that city to know who they are. And they have usually a congregation, something of 5, 6, 7,000 people. And you don't even know who they are because they're not on TV. Yet they collect all this money every Sunday, and you don't see no change to the community outside. None. So what do they do with the money? Bragging how much money they have? And we are religious people. We are spiritual people. Many of us fight the church. But even though many of us fight the church, you'll never get rid of the church. Never. For even Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I understand that the American Christianity is different than the original one. But you ain't going to never get rid of it. But the problem that I have is that these churches, now look at the white churches, they send missionaries all over the world. And they pay them. The black church don't send nobody nowhere. Right there downtown full of drugs, crack, and everything. Why can't a pastor of a mega church take some of that money, a little bit, just a little bit, couple of $1,000, maybe 300,000, open up a church somewhere in the hood and give that man about 300 members and that church and pay the salary of that pastor, and then he raises it for at least a year until he's able to kind of work his new congregation. Because he's been in that mother church for literally 20 years since the grandfather passed. Then the son took over, and his son took over, and you got members sitting there for so many years doing nothing. Gifted, talented people. And so instead of keeping them there, move them to a new location. And then that other church turns around and opens 3 satellites, storefront churches or little offices or somewhere where they will call it the evangelistic center. The evangelistic center. And there they go and hit the communities. And then that church has projects within the community. And I don't mean from the government. I don't mean that, see, black people have something that we want to rely on the government so much. It doesn't matter. I know churches that they have enough, and yet with that, they're still trying to ask the government. They're still trying to ask corporations for money. So really, it's not you feeding the poor. It is the corporation. Or it's like if I give you $20 to give to somebody else. You didn't give them the money. I did. Somebody asked me for money. You need somebody is hungry and needs food. So you come to me to ask me, listen, people are hungry. Oh, they need this, they need that. Can you help me out? Okay, so I give you the money. It goes from your hand to their hand. You did not feed them. I did. But you're going to tell yourself that you fed them. That is technology. You're tricking your own self. We have to learn how to be dependent and trust completely in God. God don't like his people depending on outsiders. He detests that. That's why he punished the children of Israel, because they were dependent on Egypt and Ethiopia. God wants you completely dependent upon him. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that, and Dr. Boyd Watson, he is doing a program where his school is not dependent on getting no charity from no one. No McDonald's, no Burger King, no Macy's, only completely on black empowerment and black money. That's how it needs to be done. Malcolm X, that's what he taught. They used to come and offer him money. He would say no. Because we got to learn how to rely on ourselves and God first and then ourselves. So you have all these churches, and many of them are getting programs from the government that spend no money of their own, but spend the money of the government to help the people. And all their money stays right in the church. All the money they collect from the people, the community, stays right in there in the white banks. And many times, 5 miles down the road, 10 miles down the road, you got a house that's dilapidated everywhere. Dilapidated. Well, they could take that money, get a construction, and learn construction, get a construction team, and put men to work, building up the houses, and then they rent them out. No, they won't do that. They will not do that because they're not called for that. They're called to preach the gospel, and that's it. They're deceiving themselves because they're not preaching the gospel. They're preaching, what they're doing is just preaching a feel-good sermon. Because those people are already saved. They're saved in the church. Most of half that church, they could start their own ministry. Most of the churches, any of them could, more than half of them could start their own ministry. These are people that come from church to church, a revolving door, from one church to another church. From one church, when they get tired of one church, they go to the next one. When they get discontented from one church, they go to another one. When the pastor hurt their feelings, they go to another one. So you're not preaching the gospel. The gospel is for the lost. You're not going out for the lost. Well, I was called to preach the gospel, but you're preaching to people that have been saved, that can literally sit you down and teach you and preach to you. No. What you're doing is you are giving them sermons to encourage them to keep on going. And not only that, really is a party. Because a lot of them, most of them, they ain't going nowhere. They'll just pack their bags and go to another church. And some of them, they don't have no church. If they have it in them, they'll start their own church. But the masses are being neglected. And that's why Farrakhan is getting a big following from church folks. God said, is there anyone that will speak for me? Is there anyone, any man that will speak for me? Who will speak for me? And that's what we need. We need an economic change. Not one that benefits individuals, but one that benefits the whole community. Where we demand and we tell people what's going on, because this is our community. We own it and we control it. You got to pay us. If you want to set up shop here, you got to pay us. The Koreans got to pay us. The Chinese got to pay us. The Arabs got to pay us. Everybody, Italians got to pay us. What America, even the Jews got to pay us if you want to set up shop or bank in this community, because we own it and we control it. You see how fast the crime goes out the community because you employ young men. And if there's someone who don't want to work and want to do drugs, want to be the big, I said, listen, you can't do that here. No, you can't do that here. Because we will stop you. And if you get too big for your bridges where we can stop you, we'll seek the white men on you. Oh, we will. We'll let them have you. And you know he has no mercy. So put that drug down and go get a job, because Mr. Thompson over there, he got a position for you. That's what we got to do. May God bless you. This is my piece. Every now and then I can leave a video. I'm going to try to leave more, so I can get myself known out there. And I'm working on these things. I'm working on it myself. I want to get me on my own business. I'm working on it. I'm planning on it. Because the only way to do it is to be self-sufficient and work by faith. Thank you.